So basically, how should men navigate
Navigate.
and survive this cold dating market?
All right. So I'm gonna do what I never do, which is give prescriptions here.
Okay. Let's do it.
So I think first off is the basics are always going to be money, muscles, and game. So those are the things. Okay,
hold on, real quick. In that trilogy right there, which one is the most important, you think?
I think it depends on the weaknesses and the deficits of the guy. So, because what happens is guys tend to play to their strengths, which it's deductive problem solving, right? If I'm not a good looking dude and I don't, I'm not physically, genetically, I'm not the best, you're probably going to think that chicks only want money. So you're going to like gross out in money, or you're going to gross out in game. So when people are deficient in one of those areas, they tend to gross out in another one of those. I know Rich Cooper will say something to the effect of like, don't chase women, chase excellence, right? What does that even mean? Like chasing excellence, or what is excellence, right? Is it money, muscles, or game, right? And my take on this is that, and I hate to use this term, but money, muscles, and game are synergistic, meaning that if you benefit in one area, it tends to have an effect on the other. So if suddenly you go from being a fat and you get in shape 6 months, 8 months later, if you're a better looking guy, are people going to treat you differently
100%.
because you're a better looking guy? Okay, how is that going to affect your game? How is that going to affect your money situation too? Are you going to be up for a better job? Are you going to like be up for a promotion? Are you going to do things? Are you going to take more chances now? Are you going to be more risk tolerant as a result of that? More confidence as well. So what happens is when you benefit in one of those areas, it tends to have a similar effect in another area. So my way forward, my way of proceeding is to chase all of those things at the same time. Okay, primarily because like I talk to these guys who are Miguel Munoz's the crypto guys, the crypto crew, right? We're just about to go to I think it's this week, as a matter of fact. The Bitcoin conference is in Las Vegas this year. Okay. Yeah, I'm going. You know why I'm going? Because I'm there with Miguel. Every time I do, like, I know you guys are affiliates with Miguel too, so am I. Whenever I do a show with them, I do a show about how these guys need to protect themselves from prostitutes and chicks who want to basically roll them.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they're here in their money all of a sudden. Like they went from living in mom's basement and having like $10 in their bank account to having $10 million in their crypto account. Like, here's my bag is this much, right? And they go from zero to hero too quickly. And what happens is they're not prepared for the that are going to be at the Bitcoin convention that are going to try to roll them.
Yeah.
Because it draws them like flies to shit, man. You will see those girls right there. Oh, guys, if this is you, if you're crypto bro, the girls at Sapphire do not love you. The girls at the Rhino do not love you. The girls at Los Chicos Bonitas definitely don't love you.
Yeah.
Haram! Yes. So, so be careful so I'm doing these shows with Miguel, and that's usually what I'm trying to explain to these guys. It's too much, too young, too fast, right? And so protecting themselves, that's why I say like you have to have a good education in all of those. So if all you're doing is really majorly grossing out in money and you have no game and you have no way to defend yourself and you don't know what female nature is like or what your own nature as a guy is like, you're going to be prone to believing that hot chick really loves you and your ship has finally come in, right? I'm finally in, I have $10 million in my bank account and that's all I care about, right? You still have to be in shape. No, you still have to have good game. And no, you still have to know the red pill because you need to be able to sort of defend yourself against stuff like that. So again, I think the basics is something that we need to kind of get back to going forward. I think we need to be hyper vigilant about questioning the veracity of what we see on social media.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that just in terms of like politics. I mean that in terms of like, what is this guy telling me, and and using my capacity for critical thinking, does it pass the smell test? Is this something is this guy trying to sell me something, or is this something that I can actually use? And I think that's a skill that a lot of like critical thinking skills right now is something that's really lacking, particularly in Generation Z. I don't know about Gen Alpha. Maybe I have a little more hope for these guys, but right now if you look at the people who have been brought up behind tablets and cell phones and have grown up with social media and stuff like that, people go, oh, that guy's old. By the way, I'm not a boomer. Thank you very much. This old boomer. No, I'm Gen X, okay? And I'll chew a hole right through you.
There you go.
Yeah. I will chew a hole right through you. Yeah, I love it. Like anybody who's like over 30 is a boomer to Gen Z.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It's like, no, you get your generational shit. But I think that going forward, using those critical thinking skills and just simply, you just stop yourself for half a second and go, is this guy trying to sell? Because usually they are trying to sell me something. What does he want me to believe? Also understand that you can make a separation between facts and how you feel about those facts. Okay. So we talk about this all the time, like how you're trying to hold girls accountable on the show, right? And usually that lack of accountability is the difference between the fact that you present them and the feelings that they have about that fact. So somewhere in between there, whether they accept it or they don't, that's where that accountability lies. And for the most part, they're 3 White Claws in, they're going to get emotional and they don't care about that. That's
crazy.
That should never be you as a guy. You need to be able to separate your feelings from facts and deal with it accordingly. And once you can think in terms of empirical thinking as opposed to emotionalist thinking, once you get to that point, you can make better fucking decisions for yourself.
Yes.
And you can live a better life for yourself. I'm not saying that emotion doesn't matter. It does. I'm not trying to dehumanize anybody. But the thing is you can't live a life and base your life on how you feel about something. You should be able to look at the facts and think about things empirically and make a good choice and make a good decision based on those empirical facts, and then sort out how you feel about it. I'm not saying be some, social robot or be Mr. Spock or something like that. I'm just saying you need to like basing your life's decisions on your emotions is a recipe for fucking disaster. You want to know why all these bitches are on here and we're kicking them off and they're getting hammered and they're like screaming at the top of their lungs? Because somewhere along the line they were taught that it's better to live their lives via emotion as opposed to fact and reason and empiricism. If you can do that as a guy because we teach guys like they're defective girls, right? We raise them as if they're defective girls. And what happens? Those defective girls, those little boys who we teach as defective girls, become men who are defective women when they get to be adults. And that's why you run into these guys like, I'm going to bring down the red pill. And, because you're basing that on how you feel, not on the facts, not on actually asking any kind of substantive questions or thinking empirically. And if you did, you'd have a completely different opinion.
All right. Well said.